Hey everyone, if you like martial arts and combat sports, make sure to hit the like and subscribe and share button, as the Drew Experience is 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. And with that, this is the Drew Experience, the show that's 80% combat sports and 20% everything else. I don't really have an intro yet. I'm not good at this stuff, but I'm learning along the way. I'm learning on the fly. I want to give a thank you to three people. First of all, KRT Tips and Tricks, the largest online growing dojo during the pandemic to bridge and raise the bar of martial arts, where senseis Wesley Jansen and Darren Stringer are bringing the minds of all striking martial arts together. KRT Tips and Tricks, and you can get their sweater, as you can see here in this ad read. I also want to say thank you to Kyokushin Shuffle with Sensei Patrick Pinto, along with his ebook, Forever the Student. And he has a new one coming out soon where he picks the greatest minds of Kyokushin and kickboxing and other martial arts to see how they excel at their craft. And lastly, Moments Management, if you're an up-and-coming MMA fighter, finding a good manager is hard. Luckily, Nima Safapur, who's represented Alex Gustafsson, Gegard Mousasi, amongst others, will teach you about pro fighting, investing your money for the better, and understanding your fight window in order to make good decisions before, during, and after your fight career. Moments Management, where quality and care come first. And without further ado, tonight's guest, oh man, this has been in the works for such a long time. So guys, I just want to say something before for anyone who wants to know where I got one of my ideas to do a podcast, this is from my guest. You know, Scott Heaney from the Themartialwayblog has been an integral part for me to develop my podcast and improve my podcast game. When I started doing this, being only on audio with Beyond the Fight, we don't talk about my old show. It's in the grave, buried 6 feet under. It's been canceled. Not because I offended anyone, but I really want to say, Scott Heaney of the Themartialwayblog, welcome to the Drew Experience, and thank you for coming, despite what's going on with your back. But other than that, I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, buddy. That's amazing intro. You're a pro now. Holy crap. That's amazing. Look, are you reading that off, or is that memorized?
It's all memorized. It's like,
Jesus,
I'm going to say this for anyone. Okay, so for anyone who's at contact kicks or any martial arts school, because you know how everyone gets into martial arts because they're bullied, and I'm very open with being on the spectrum. Guys, if you are like a savant in any regard, that's a skill, that's a gift. Embrace
100%.
it.
It's incredible, dude. Well, I know that's one of the things I was always impressed with. You ram off stats and fighters and all this stuff. I'm like, holy crap! How does he? Man, it's amazing. Like, I always joke that I have a great memory. It just doesn't last long.
I know what you mean. And it's funny when shout out to the KRT boys. They were talking about. They called me Mr. Baseball Card, which I appreciate. And the funny thing is, in my armoire right here, there's a binder of hockey cards, and that's how I used to ring off all the stats. So you and Wesley got it right.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, and shout out those guys. I love those boys.
And how's it been, man? It's been, you've been doing good now since 2021. Shout out to Terry Birkitt of Ronin Dojo, who came on before.
Screw that guy.
Hey, come on, I love here. But yeah, are you in Alaska now? Did you move?
I know. Jesus. He's a character. No, it's been good. The year's been great, actually, despite all the nonsense that's going on. Up until last Tuesday, we were talking before the show, so I hurt my back. I talked about it on Real Talk on Friday as well, so I won't get into too much, but it's getting old. Tweaked the back, and it's just not going back. So every day I feel like it's getting better, and then it gets worse again, and I don't know. So I haven't trained since Tuesday. Losing my mind. I even tried to do some rowing today, but didn't quite work out well. Anyway, it is what it is.
Look, you do what you got to do. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I can fight as a heavyweight now in Kumites. I ballooned up. That's what quarantine does. So now, with gyms reopening,
I thought you looked a little in the face a little bit more.
No, I do. But it's slowly. It was worse before. It was more evident. But now, but that's what it does, man. That's what it does. It's like this. I tried a Zoom karate class. I couldn't do Zoom. I have to be in the dojo.
It's for everyone. It's different. I find it challenging too for a couple of reasons, but one of them, it's never the same as in a dojo. So we've been back in now. I don't know what it is, a couple of weeks or so now, and it feels so good. I mean, we don't have our old physical dojo anymore. It's gone. Thank you, COVID. But we are training out of this place, this Russian Sambo place, and it's good just to be there with everyone. It feels so good.
God bless the Russian community for kicks. Like I'm telling you, like Sensei Fogarazzi has done such a good job, like with the Slavic community in
Hmm.
Ontario.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think he's highly respected in that community. So.
He's got a pipeline. I mean, I always say like if there's someone that when it comes to eyeing talent,
Hmm.
it's Steve. Like Steve knows like when they're gonna be coming up. He knows how to groom them, get them ready, and that says a lot. Like you guys have a very good school. Like I don't get me wrong. Like I mean, like you even had stars before, but now like the next generation is being molded, and I really like what I'm seeing.
I wish there was, again, this COVID thing has screwed everything, but I wish there were tournaments and stuff happening. I'd like to
Mm.
see, Pavel's the one I'd like to really to see back in action. He's far beyond what anyone saw before. He's a phenom. He trains a lot of MMA now as well. So
Mhm.
his grappling game, everything is amazing. So he's training 6 days a week, 2 times a day. He's a beast.
I remember seeing a progress photo on the Kicks Instagram page, like how he looked when he started, like
Yeah.
bit like pudgy, not pudgy, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
full, looked full in
Stay
the face.
puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's like gets on a regimen, but that's because he's Russian. And as I like to say, Russians are like they have that mentality, man. Like they just go.
He's incredibly disciplined.
Yeah,
And like a lot, like you said, that culture, I think it's hammered in there anyway. But yeah, Paul's he's a great kid and he's incredibly disciplined.
very good example of what a martial artist is too, and how he represents Kicks as
Hundred
like its
percent.
ambassador.
Hundred percent.
You could have a like what I like about Kicks is like if they see like for example like when I have a conversation with you or if I talk with Sensei Fogarazzi, man, they share our stuff. So I want to give a huge shout out to Kicks, like because they really are welcoming. I get messages, hey us, great conversation, like you should come, guys. I'm gonna come when this COVID nonsense is over. I'm gonna come and I'm gonna buy my Kicks hoodie. Like
Oh,
it's like
that's right. That's right.
I'm
You wanted the
collecting
hoodie.
hoodies. I want
Yeah.
my hoodie still. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta have a
Got to hook you
KRT.
up.
I got a KRT. I'm getting my one from Wesley, hopefully.
I'll hook you up with a Marshall Way one too. There's a Marshall Way
oh
T-shirt as well.
dude, I'll take a T-shirt, man, if you're willing to. Yeah, like, yeah, I'll take
Yeah.
it, man. And we gotta support each other. And I mean, you've been doing very good with what you're doing, and now not only have our shows made it, like we're on like KRT. And how does it feel, man? Like, do you feel like you're like Marshall Ways helped played a role with KRT and growing the art of Kyokushin?
I think so. I didn't mean for it to be that way,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of cool. It was, when I started this years ago, it was just I went to Cincy Steve and said, "Hey, do you mind? Like, I love writing. Do you mind if I just start this blog just to chronicle my journey back into martial arts?" And he was okay with it. So I just started this online blog journal. It was just a journal. Hey, this is last night, Tuesday night, focused on this, blah 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 blah. And what's really funny about life? At that time, around the same time, I was trying to figure out some way I could do something to monetize something online. So I came up with a couple ideas, and I actually invested in them and stuff. Flop, like nothing. It got nothing, no traction. Marshall Way, I didn't invest a penny because it was just free blog, and within a short period of time, it took off. So people liked the writing, and so I basically I told that story over so many years, and then started writing articles then on Kyokushin itself, like history and things, different, the meaning of such and such. Um, and then it came around to the idea of, yeah, maybe perhaps doing a podcast. So it's all been completely organic. To circle back around to your question, I think now it's at a point where it does influence. I mean, my Facebook channel has, I don't know, God, like 150,000, 200,000 followers. I don't know what
Worldwide.
the Instagram has. YouTube channel does really, really well. I just wish that I could put more content out.
Yeah.
That's my only thing that drives me crazy. I really wish I could do more with it. It's not because of lack of guests or anything like that. There's a pipeline. It's just my time and trying to balance things. Anyway, sorry, rambling on a bit, but
No,
yes, I
it's
do think it has influence. I hope
yeah.
it has, because that's what I wanted to morph it into, something to promote Kyokushin.
Well, I mean, I always like to say this because I mean, I got the idea of Beyond the Fight. Like, so two things. Like, I remember when I first came across your blog in 2018, and I was like, I was still like, I was a blue belt. You mean like I was still only coming up, but I always wanted to have a podcast because I loved MMA. But like
Mm.
everyone said, you should do a podcast. Like, nah, I don't know. I don't think I can do it. And then they're like, no, no, you should do it. So I want to say, you know, like your early shows, like really kind of did give me like the gas, like gave me like the motivation. So and the blogs too, because when I was getting my green belt, I remember I messaged you and I said, Scott, it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do at a yellow belt, and you said, listen, you know, yellow belt's a tough belt. Just tough it up, get your green, and then when you get your green, you're gonna see how much easier it is.
Yeah, it's weird. Yellow Belt's a weird wasteland. It's so I don't know what it is about that level of it. Yeah.
I I,
Um,
I look at it like the Navy SEALs.
what, that belt level or the
No,
or
just
the
like
whole
the whole thing.
yeah
It's like
the
because only
journey?
20, yeah, only 20 million, 10 or 20 million people only do Kyokushin, and it's like so many.
It's weird, you know. Kyokushin. When I was a kid, there was obviously no Kyokushin around. The only thing around was Taekwondo and some other smaller things. But I had heard about it because I was so deeply entrenched in martial arts, and so it was this Kyokushin was always this almost like mythical thing. Like it had such respect. Um, so it's interesting now. It's almost I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know if it happened after the splinter of all the organizations or whatever, but it just lost its popularity, especially in North America. I mean, Europe, it's still it's huge, whatever. But I guess I mean more North America. So that was one of the things I really wanted to try to bring it back, the focus on it anyway.
Oh, it's very good. I mean, because we need that. And then you know, I started my show with the old one called Beyond the Fight. As mentioned, it's buried 6 feet under. But and I remember you said you got to get on video, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Scott, I can't do it. And you're like, and then like I remember you're like Drew, just do it. You're like, just
yeah.
like you said it like you're gonna see how it changes. And it was like you, my friend Pascal, and like two other people said you got to get the channel going.
Yeah.
And I said it changes. Like it's so much better.
Yeah, yeah, it's completely different. It makes it a little bit more. I don't know. There's something. The other one's like it's like a phone call. I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, yeah. You get to see expressions. You
It's
can
kind of
see them.
hard to because I had a conversation with Shihan Tom Callan. Shout out to Shihan Tom, by the way, who's awesome. Like he's been on like your show plenty of times, and also like just
He's a great guy.
oh, he's a man of like culture. That's a
Yeah,
cultured man.
yeah. He's an
And
interesting character.
yeah, and he was like telling me like we were having a phone call, like, and he said it's like I like the audio versions. He says, but the videos are better because I can really put a face to who I'm talking to,
Exactly.
and it helps. I find
Yeah.
it's as you said, you have it's like a phone call. This is like a real genuine conversation, and it's videos change, and that's where like I said, okay, if I'm gonna rebrand my show, the Drew Experience, I gotta do video now. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you did. I'm really glad you did. Um, yeah. And then I started up the thing with Terry. So that was kind of funny actually. So I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have on Kyokushin, good or bad or whatever, but that's a whole different experience to itself. So and that was born basically. Terry and I just became really good friends, and we would chat all the time. And so many times we'd be like, "Oh my God, we should have recorded that." And so that's basically how that just came about. Just him and I just taking the piss out of each other and whatever. So people are having a laugh over it. The last one was a disaster. We just recorded one on Friday, and it was a nightmare because of my back thing and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it was just, oh my God, it was awful. But whatever, we're learning.
you learn along the way. Like again, at the end of the day, if it's your if the content belongs to you, you can do whatever you want with it. Like, and you're
Mhm.
still doing more than the other person who says that they could have done it, or they start giving you their opinions of the show.
Fair enough. It's true, but I'm my own worst critic, I think, and I think it really bothers me,
Hmm.
as I mentioned earlier, that I'm not doing enough content. It's yeah, it's,
I mean, yeah, too. Like, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I'm but
Well,
like
you're pushing content like crazy. What are you talking about?
I push it
I can't keep
crazy.
up with your stuff.
I know no one can. It's like, but now I'm slowing it down because we're slowly reopening up in Quebec. So like the goal
Yeah.
is for me to like do 2 a week. But if I really want to push that third in a week, I do Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. If it's like I'm up to it, but it's like
It's
I think
hard. People don't realize it's hard, man.
yeah.
And I find it hard. And I find it, especially the one-on-ones that I do. I find them, it's almost draining. Like it's because I work myself up so much for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
That's what happened to me when I had on like my biggest guest was when I had on Alex UFC
yeah,
contender Gustafson's manager. I was like, oh my God, I got an MMA manager on my show. Now it's like, and then like one of my friends were like, calm down. He's a human being like you. But it was a big deal to me. And it was but then like, it's the one-on-one, it depends. Like you gotta do your homework too,
yeah,
especially with the big guests too. Like if it's like a big name in Kyokushin, like you don't want to be too you can't really talk to them like they're your buddy. Like let's say I'm talking to you right now. It's like you have to structure your questions, and then if they like it, then you can kind of be more.
yeah. I try and yeah, it's I try not to research too much, to be
Really?
honest. Yeah. I do like the format of just going in there and like I'm
Hmm.
getting to know the person.
Hmm.
And just, I mean, but a lot of these people, especially the folks that I've had on, I already know their backgrounds anyway.
Hmm.
I mean, the Kyokushin community is pretty small. I
Hmm.
mean, it is a large community globally, but the names, we know who they are. So that makes it a little easier. Um, I'm more like I mentioned to you off camera. I got somebody coming on next Sunday that's pretty big, and it's outside my wheelhouse, and that makes me a little anxious. But we'll see how it goes.
You just got to go with it. Like, I mean, for me, when it comes to Kyokushin, like the biggest guest I had so far was Shihan Felix Tamaza.
Hmm.
That was a
Hmm.
big one because he is so accomplished. Like, and when you mention Felix's name, it carries weight in terms of like the impact he's had on everybody he's taught or worked with.
Hmm.
So I had to work myself up for that one because it was a tough one because I wanted to make Darren look good because Darren really put in a good word to be like, hey,
Hmm.
this is a guy you should have on. And I recommend if you ever have a chance, Felix would be an amazing guest for your
Well, I
show.
listened to that one. It was great. It was really, really good. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah,
Stories out of a movie. Like it's like,
yeah,
and
I
I was
know it's
talking, I was
crazy,
talking
right?
to him this past weekend. I said, hey, how do you feel about Francis winning the heavyweight title for
Mm.
African MMA? And he's like, he's so articulate with how it's like listening to like a professor with a PhD, but it's like talking to your friend too. And he's like, and he just brought up all these good points about like how this is going to help grow the sport. He's like, and this is how it's going to help Cameroon, his home
Yeah,
country. That's what I love about martial arts. When people say soccer's the global sport, no, it's combat sports. It's the global
yeah.
sport.
People love combat sports, man. We're humans. Like that's what it's about. Did you see the reaction in Cameroon? The video that came out. That
Yes,
was beautiful, man.
I
It
loved it.
was. That made me. So even now, this made me so emotional. It was
I,
incredible.
I'm very happy because when you have the heavyweight title in any sport, like in any combat sport,
Hmm.
it's not like the other weight divisions. The
Yeah,
heavyweight
I
is
know.
like it's like a different kind of prestige, and this
Hmm.
this is like Mike Tyson level we're looking at here. If they market Francis well,
Hmm.
and if they look at Alain Nagalny in ONE FC, if they can find a way to market him in his
That
Kyokushin,
guy.
yeah,
Holy cow! What a specimen. Oh my God.
he can do the
The Kyokushin.
splits. Yeah, he lives in
Incredible.
Hong Kong, right? I think he lives in Hong Kong.
Yep, yep, yeah. Doesn't he? He has a brother too that fights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a man. Yeah. Oh my God, I look at his Instagram stuff. It just mind-boggling with that guy. He's so athletic, but he's a beast. Like he's such a specimen, but he's just a genetic freak. Unbelievable, man. That guy does things that just blows my mind.
I want to see him fight Vitor because I know like Vitor Belfort was signed to ONE, and it's like there was talks of him versus Alain. That would
How
have been
old is Vitor now, though?
40. He's going to be 44 in April.
Jesus, that's yeah.
Vitor's a legend, man. I mean,
I
like,
know, but
it's yeah, but it's like give him TRT, give him TRT, not that give him the T. Just because they like, I just give
Yeah.
him all the Mexican supplements there
All the
are.
Mexican supplements.
Just give him all that. Yeah, like I mean, but you know what's funny though? Here's a crazy story. So I'm sure you know of like Andrews Nakahara and
Yeah.
uh okay, so Andrews Nakahara. You know, do you ever watch Vitor's knockout of Luke Rockhold? How he gave him a spinning back kick, and it's like
Yep.
everyone says it's either a Taekwondo kick or like a spinning Maroshi Gary. It's like that's a Kyokushin kick.
Yeah.
And Andrews confirmed to me, like, because my coach that kind of know of Mohammed, like knows Andrews from
Okay.
RKO1. So, and Andrews and I like were talking, and I said, Naka, I'm like, did you actually teach Vitor that kick? And he's like, yes. He's like, we taught him how to do the spinning back kick and time it against a guy like Rockhold.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's really cool. Very, very cool.
Is Andrews one of your favorite? Is Andrews like who are your favorite fighters when it comes to the national, like a country wise for Kyokushin?
Kyokushin? Oh my God, I don't have any favorites in Kyokushin. I don't. I just love watching it. So I don't follow it like I would follow like another sport. I don't know why. Because again, I look at it more holistically like a martial art. So I have my favorites in it, but it's not particularly because they're an amazing fighter or they're a champion in this or that. It's more about them, their training, their personalities, their styles, and things of that nature. So yeah, when you ask me favorite fighters, I'm gonna go like Sugar, somebody like that, and MMA rather than to the Kyokushin side of things.
No, it makes total sense. I mean, I have like obviously there's so many interesting and amazing individuals we have in the art, like because like they all teach us something, whether it's like a Shihan or a sensei or a senpai, especially.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
My favorites are like Darren Stringer, people like that. Like, and again, yes, he's a champion, but I've also now gotten to know him. I've gone to seminars with him, so there's so many different facets of it. Like, he's just an incredible, high caliber athlete. So explosive, so fast, sharp precision technique. Like, there's so many things that's why he's one of my favorites. So not necessarily because he's this great fighter, which he is, you know.
It's like that for me too. Like I love Wesley and Darren because like you get to know them and it's like they become your friends out right away.
Yeah,
and,
they're great guys.
When you're friends and like I knew like because I remember like I said like when you first started the video podcast, I said I'm gonna message Wes. Is it worth having on? And you said maybe you don't remember, but you said yeah, you should get Wesley on. He's really like worth it. And Wesley and I were talking, but my other show died.
Conversation. He's a fun conversation. He's a great guy.
He is so like. He's like a, and like what's crazy is it's like he's only 30 and he's accomplished so much already. And it's like, and then you have Darren who's like 39, but Darren is like got the mind of a 25-year-old and he's still sharp as hell. So
yeah, and he's got a lot of championships under his belt. It's amazing. He's IFK must be very proud of him.
They have to be. He is among the greatest when it comes to like.
Oh yeah, he's a legend.
He has to be. What's going on with IFK now? Because I heard like Hanshi Arniel stepped down. So what's going on exactly?
Well, yeah, he's not a spring chicken, right? I forget how old Hanshi is now. 80. I should look it up. He's in his mid to late 80s.
Hey.
Oops. So and especially now, like he can't travel internationally because of his age and stuff now. So I think it just time. And honestly, though it's a little sad, I think I'd rather see it this way than another way, if you know what I mean. I don't even want to say it. So it's kind of cool that and he passed the reins on to Shihan David. So I think it's nice.
You got to always have the next chapter planned out. And the thing is, like, some of these martial arts masters stay in for so long until, like, you know, in another season.
Yeah, and they also, to your point, not set things up properly. I mean, that happened to Kyokushin itself with Sosai, right? You know, that's why it became such a political mess afterwards, because he I don't think he really had formally named anybody, but Matsui took it over, obviously, but. Anyway, yeah.
But IFK's done such a good job. Like, I mean, they're so big in Europe, and the fact that they are in Russia is such a big thing. And I just, they like, I mean, one of the smartest things that Hanshi did was right after the Soviet Union ended, he goes into Russia. Probably like I don't know if this is like, listen, I'm hypo. This is a hypothesis, okay? So to anyone that listens to this, this is just my hypothesis of what happens. He probably went to Russia or sent an emissary down there that can speak both languages, you know, like an interpret. And they said, "Hey, look, we got this karate association. You want to join? You're gonna fight all the European champions." And the Russians probably said, "Sure." And lo and behold, they become part of IFK. And the 90s, I mean, I'm sure you've heard stories. Like, I mean, there was a Shihan Sauvé's team that he had with like Julie Nadeau, Michael, and then Felix came down. There was like, it's like Gaetan sent me a video of like Felix fighting in Laval, like with some Russians, and then they went over to Russia.
Yeah, I know. That's long before my time in it, but I know some of those stories. It's pretty cool. Yeah, IFK, yeah, they did a great job. Still doing a great job. I mean, we can't escape the COVID conversation, so it's impacted everybody and every organization, and IFK is no different. So I'm not sure how, you know, it's all, whatever. I have no idea. I'm glad for things like KRT though.
Yeah.
Like those guys, what they've done. When I had them on, that's why I said they have the largest dojo in the world right now, which is it's true. It's amazing. And again, the work ethic and everything they're doing, and the guests they have on is amazing. I think that was huge for Kyokushin.
Oh my God. Yeah. I have to really say, well, you know what? I want to say, I think we all, I mean, they did amazing, but I think in the end, the way I want to look at it is like, I think we've all done a good job, whether it's yours, KRT. I think KRT is, it's you and KRT, then Kyokushin Shuffle. And then I came in. So like with the Drew experience, because I think we all have a goal. And to quote what Pat Pinto said, as Sosai wanted, we have to raise the bar of Kyokushin, no matter the association, no matter the what rank we are or whatever, we all have a role to play. Because listen, I see what 100%. BJJ is doing, and I think it's great, but I think we have something special too. Because I always say it, the Kyokushin community is one of the most rich communities, and when they see what we're doing, they really do what they can to push us. Like, I mean, after I interviewed Fogarazzi, the amount, your sensei Steve, the amount of support I get, like it's nice to see. Like, I really appreciate it. And like, I really have to thank you for like, you know, giving shout outs to me, because it helps, man. There's enough slices of pie to go around for everybody.
Oh God, yes. This is the online space. It's a crazy universe. Definitely. And if anything, to your point, we just help each other, I think, in the long run. I really, really do. And I'm always down to help promote people if I can in any way at all, especially when around Kyokushin. That's my goal. That's it. I just want to promote Kyokushin. And as you were saying, Kyokushin is a really close-knit community, looking out for each other, and it's yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. I really like it.
It's because some people have asked me, one person asked me, what if you get very big when you start covering the UFC? Are you going to forget about your Kyokushin? I said, of course not. I said, I'm always going to have guests of Kyokushin on, whether they're repeats or new. I said, you have to remember where your roots come from. It's like what Joe Rogan does. If you think what Joe Rogan does, he always talks about Brazilian jiu-jitsu all the time. Sometimes he'll talk about his Taekwondo background, but it's always about BJJ. So notice how he brings it back to there. I want to create that pattern, but with Kyokushin. Like, yes, I love combat sports, but I always want to make sure, like, hey, this is where I got into martial arts with, because if I say something about it, that creates word of mouth. And I like to be a social entrepreneur, and I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not really, but socially, like, I want to create awareness.
Entrepreneur, I like that. It's got a nice ring to it. I totally agree. I have some people that are going to be coming on the martial way, and they're not Kyokushin. They're from other karate styles.
Nice.
And it's more just, again, because I respect them as trainers, I respect them as instructors, and what they're doing. Like, I have. Terry influenced me a lot in this way. Kyokushin is so much more than just knockdown karate, you know, the sports side of it. And especially now as I'm getting older, it's definitely an area that I want to focus more on, around the kata, bunkai, and real, quote unquote, real fighting. So some guests that I have coming up, even though they're from, there's a couple from Shotokan, but they train very, very realistically. Like, if you saw their videos, it looks more like MMA than it does Shotokan. But again, this always comes full circle back around to Kyokushin. So
It's very true. Like I had on my show Corey Schaefer, who was like Corey Schaefer is the director of Legend of he works in Bellator, but he also
mhm.
worked in Glory. He's also worked in Iska, like with
Wow,
Victorio and
wow,
Johnny. Yeah, and he also did work with Karate Combat. And I brought up the question. I said, why is there no Kyokushin practitioner in Karate Combat? And he said like, well, he's like, it's more because of it's with the Shotokan Association. I said, if you really want real karate, I said, you have to include all the styles. He's like, well, I like that. He's like, if there's any karate athletes that are Kyokushin, I said, we're waiting. I said, if you say to one, yes, that's going to open the floodgates. And I just
yeah.
said, but I think though, and it's not
There's
to like,
one thing though.
yeah,
There's one thing.
what's
You know what
that?
it is? No
The
leg
leg
kicks.
kicks. No leg kicks.
I don't get it. I love their format. I love the videos. I love everything about it. So they got a little cheesy, a little bit,
Yeah.
but a little too Enter the Dragonish.
Yeah.
But the format itself, the way the ring is, I like that better than the cage. I really do. I think I don't know if you remember Joe Rogan saying that his ultimate thing would be no cage, like on a football field.
Yes.
And just
Yeah.
let them go.
Basketball court. Yeah. Football
Yeah.
field, basketball court.
And so I love that kind of bowl thing that they have going on. And they're high caliber athletes. Everything's amazing. But again, no leg kicks. And I asked when in the early on, I would ask them about it, and they were just I would just send them notes and stuff, and nope, don't want to do it. That's
And
not karate.
it's so funny
And
because they
now I
brought
know
it.
why though. It's a
Yeah.
Shotokan thing, right?
Now it's like, and here's the best part: they brought in George St. Pierre as like an ambassador, and
What? I didn't
George,
know that.
yeah, he was on Ariel Helwani about it. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm
Holy
gonna
shit, I
help
didn't know that.
them with their. He's like, I'm gonna help them with
I
their
gotta help them.
season. And with his accent, he's like, I did Kyokushin, but it's like, George, you could say you did Kyokushin, but they're not gonna allow anyone to do it in there. It's like,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, look, I really wish they could like put that aside and be like, listen, it doesn't matter what style. Like there's Goju Ryu, there's Shoro Ryu, there's Shotokan, there's like Kempo, there's like American karate. It's like just let Kyokushin in. Like what are like it kind of bothers me.
It really bothers me. I left it alone
Yeah.
a long time ago now. It was more in its infancy. But that was one of the things I told them is like, you guys would, if you allowed that one element of leg kicks, you would be 10 times bigger than you are. And I really believe that because
Me too.
you would get people coming in from other styles, open it up to other styles. You get Kyokushin guys coming in, who knows? You get Weichi guys, who knows? You're going to get people coming in, and it's going to open a bigger audience to you. You've now just can you imagine if they allowed that and then they brought Kyokushin into it and had it truly open, so different styles, like the audience would be massive. It would just explode.
I think it'd be bigger than Glory. I mean, I really think it could compete. It could be bigger
I
than
think it
Glory.
could definitely compete with Glory if
Yeah.
they did that element. So it's a shame, man.
Y- y-
Please, guys, leg
Just,
kicks.
just allow the leg kicks. It's not that hard, but
I don't know what the resistance is. It's so other than politics and
probably. But I mean, I think like for example, like what if they allowed the leg kicks, I guarantee. I mean, I think Darren could compete. Like Darren would be like, as mentioned, Darren is in his 30s, but Darren can still kick some ass. So I
there's
like to
many
see.
people I think that could compete at a good level there. I mean, I know. I'll keep harping on the leg kicks. I mean,
know.
I think they allow calf kicks, which is so
Yeah.
weird. it's yeah. Anyway,
I want to see like I also had him. I don't know if you've heard of him, but of Ashy Hairstyle, I had him on my show, Renee Stichter.
I don't know the name, but I obviously know the style.
Yeah.
Love Ashihara. Holy cow.
So Renee Stichter was one of Ashihara's most accomplished practitioners, and he fought Kyokushin guys. Like he
Right.
fought Michael Zimmerman, like he was Michael Zimmerman's
Ah,
toughest
okay.
fight. Yeah, in Europe,
Sensei
like they fought in
Zimmerman.
Europe. Yeah,
Shout out.
I love Sensei Zimmerman. He's
Me
awesome.
too, man. He's a
He's
character.
he's a bit wild. He's a character, but the guy is. I think he's the greatest North American lightweight of all time. Like
I have to agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't even know who would be next. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know the goal was
Well,
eventually they wanted to have Chucky Mady versus Michael Zimmerman when Michael left, but I mean, I respect both because like I know them both, but
mhm.
there's levels to this game. Like there really is levels, and I just think Michael is, now like he doesn't want to compete, but I think Michael is just he's always a dangerous fight.
Are you familiar with Sergey Fedorov?
The photographer or the hockey player?
Yes. My friend, the photographer, Kyokushin guy.
Yeah, of course. I messaged him on his work he does.
Have you ever seen his fights?
No, I have to. I didn't know he was a fighter.
Oh, Drew. It's unbelievable. He's actually somebody I'm going to have come on my show just
Good.
because his story is amazing. He was an Uchideshi in Japan. He fought in all Japan. He was ranked, I think, if not first place in the top whatever in Russia for IKO 1. And yeah, he's unbelievable as a lightweight in that. Man, he's incredible. And to spar with him, it's
It's
humbling. I'll say that. It's very
different.
humbling.
It's different.
It's amazing when you come across these people at that level.
Yeah.
That's I find amazing with Kyokushin. Like when you how can I put this? You could spar with people in your dojo, and ego always comes into it, and people end up going too hard or whatever, or this or that. When you just want to try to work on your technique, and there's always something going on, right? But when you spar with guys at this level, like Sergey and Sensei Steve's the same way, and Sensei Darren I've sparred with, they're on such a level that it's enjoyable. It's just like you literally this moving chess piece, and when I spar with Sergey, it's he just, I don't know, he moves around you. He's toying with you basically, with somebody at my level.
Yeah.
And it's such a pleasure because they could drop you at any second, but they don't. And they're there to build you up and to help you, and it's really, really cool. That's what I like about these guys at this level. I really love.
It's kind of like a brotherhood, because if they
Yeah.
see that you have potential, like for example, when I started training with Mohammed and his guys,
Hmm.
and like I have to understand, like Mo is a very picky person with who he works with. Like he's gonna really vet to see if you have like a good mindset. He doesn't want to work with any egos. He doesn't
Right.
want to work with any people that like are gonna bring drama. So when
Hmm.
I started like going to his gym from my old school, like I go train at my old school just to get my belt gradings, but to get ready for tournaments,
Hmm.
go to Mo's gym. The guys there, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're like, they don't treat you like you're like inferior, like the little brother, and they're the big brother because of their skill. They're there to mold you, and that's
Yeah.
what's really good. It's like that's the brotherhood that I love in Kyokushin with those high level guys.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. And it's humbling, and it's really incredible. And then when you see people at that level sparring, two of them against each other, it's the same thing. They could just go explosion, but they don't. It's so technical. And there was actually Sensei, was it Wesley, put a video out on Facebook. It was just from his memories or whatever, where he was sparring with this Shihan from Japan. Oh my god, his name's escaping me now. And it's so technical. It's so just beautiful to watch. I love that. I'd rather watch that than two people just kicking the piss out of each other.
Me too.
I just would. Yeah.
It's fun. Like if I want to do that, I'll watch boxing or
Yeah.
UFC. But if I want to see like really high level technical
Yeah.
like showdowns, knee dans, sand dans, and above fight, I'm gonna watch that. And it's not to fight to kick ass; it's to show their technical skill. Like it's
Yeah.
it's like watching a movie. It's like when I watch Darren.
Exactly.
When I watch Darren do his moves, I feel like I'm watching, like I'm watching like some Bruce Lee, Michael Jai White film, like with the.
Well, it's funny you should say that because Wesley also just had a video from this past weekend. I got to talk to him about it. He's all hooked up, and they're shooting with him for a video game. Did you see that?
Yes. Oh, it was amazing.
It's so cool. So I need to find out what's going on there for that. That's yeah. Those guys are man.
It's like they're all friends, and even you know the guy you should get on your podcast too. You should really get Patrick Pinto on your show.
I'm going to. I know, and I know we've talked about doing
Yeah.
a thing together.
It's just the time zone difference. It's so
Yeah,
hard.
all of it, yeah, and his schedules, and yeah, he's. I feel bad actually. I feel like I should be promoting him even more because I really love what he does.
Yeah.
And he's such a good guy. So yeah.
He's our
And you did
common
you say he? Sorry.
he's our Commonwealth brother because you think of Canada,
Yeah,
Australia.
that's right.
I
That's
always like
right.
to say, I always say like the UK is like the sorry, Darren, but the UK is like the proper relatives. Like, they're like
Yeah.
the ones that
Yeah.
are like,
First cousins.
and they're like, and then we're like the middle. And then like Australia is like that uncle that like just doesn't care. They're unfiltered. They drink beer. Like, you could talk to Patrick and he'll be like, you'll get two kinds of Patricks. If he, at first when he doesn't know you, he'll be very formal. That's the British side still from Australia. And sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But then when you get to know him after, Patrick's like talking to you like he knows you forever. So yeah, Patrick's a great guy.
Yeah, he's great. Did you say he's got another book coming out?
Yes, I think it's in the works. It's called Forever the Teacher now. I think he's mentioned
Oh,
it.
that's right. No, you're right. I did see that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's he's done so much too. Like, I mean, and he's got such an interesting story how he got into martial arts at a bit of a later age, and now he's like a sensei. Australia is another powerhouse too. I always like to say, there's
Yeah,
Japan,
for
Russia.
sure.
Australia is underrated.
For
It's
sure,
like,
for sure.
I mean, have you seen some of the talents come out of there?
I mean, I'm not on top of names and stuff, but I've seen them. Yeah. I also really like the fact that Judd Reed has now moved back there
Hmm.
and is building up again. Again, fucking COVID hit him hard.
Oh no, Tyler,
Hit
yeah.
everybody there. But his dojo, and he's got such a beautiful dojo there. But yeah, he's having these events. He's bringing up these young fighters, and it's pretty impressive. But they always have been. Like, I mean, Gary O'Neill, all these folks, right? Like, it's pretty spectacular what they did.
It really is. I mean, there's one guy that, like, I mean, I know you said you're the some names. One guy to keep an eye out for, like, I always have to shout him out, is Nasser Kassab. He's been on one Kyokushin's page. He's coming out
Yeah,
of Australia.
yeah.
This guy is like, he's the future. Like, I think if he can fight an MMA, like if he learns the ground game, like he's very high pressure. He's a typical, like, Australasian, but he's got that Middle Eastern background, which he's bred for combat sports.
Yeah.
And I've watched some of his fights. Aggressive but smart. He's not like aggressive where he gets nervous. He's very calculated. He picks you apart like a predator. Like, that's some guy. That's one that eventually, like, if you ever
I
get a
just as
chance.
you're talking now, because of the
Yeah.
name, I couldn't. As soon as I pulled him up, now I recognize him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I also wanted. What are your thoughts on? Man, God, I'm terrible with names. Hold on, because I'm curious. Because you're so big into UFC stuff as well. And his name is totally. I'm gonna screw up how to pronounce his name though. Nathan Levy. Levy.
Nathan Levy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Nathan Levy, you said it right.
Yeah.
I think it's nice. I think it's great to see an Israeli in mixed martial arts because, I'm Jewish. So for me, it's like, it's nice to see. But does he have a Kyokushin background, or does it only?
Oh yeah. So this is why I love the guy. All right. So this is the guy I'm having on next Sunday.
Ah, that's
So,
amazing, man, dude. That's amazing.
yeah, so he's coming on next Sunday. So yeah, he lived in Okinawa. His
Wow.
background started in Weichi. Amazing karateka, Weichi-ryu. Like, you should see some videos. His traditional karate stuff is unbelievable. And then he went to Kyokushin, incredible Kyokushin fighter. So so he picked up all the ground stuff later in that, and so he's on quite a winning streak now. But he has his UFC. Well, he's been doing what's that
Dana
show?
White's Contender Series.
Yeah, yeah. So now he has his UFC debut in April. So yeah, see how he does. But yeah, we set it up to go. And interestingly, so to your point, because he's Kyokushin, he reached out to me, which blew my mind. I was like,
Dude,
"What?
that's
Is this
amazing.
a joke?"
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
this is a joke, right?" He's like, "No, why do you think it's a joke?" I'm like, "Jesus."
Be proud of yourself. No, really, be proud of yourself because, like, when I got my first big guest on, which was the manager I told you about, you
Yeah.
got to relish in it. And that means that you're doing something good. So I really want to, like, I actually really want to say, man, congrats. Like, Scott,
Thanks, man.
like, this is a testament to your work. When the one thing too is like that you have to do is, like, you cannot listen to what people tell you. You have to do you. Just keep blinders on and keep.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely that way anyway.
Because, like, I had like one, because like I had one person that said to me, like, I remember they said, They said something really, it was like, I don't even want to get it. Like, I don't even remember, but it was like really dumb. And at first I let it affect me, but then I was like, wait a second, this person doesn't pay my bills. They don't put out the content. They're not getting the guests like me. So you know what? I'm just going to say, okay, perfect. Thank you. And move on. Because at the end of the day, they're a fan. Like they're a fan. Like I look at it that
Yeah,
way. You're a fan of my work. So I
exactly.
appreciate the fact you took time out of my day. It's easy to be all, want to shit them, want to get you canceled. I'm gonna get you. No, you can't be like that. You know, life's
No,
too
don't
short.
bait into that
No.
nonsense. Like, even this whole thing I do with the Marshall Way and now the stuff with the real talk and that, I, I I'm not trying to do anything other than just have fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's to your point, life's too short, and I just want to have fun conversations with people.
Yeah, exactly. You got to really enjoy life. You got to enjoy the process. And it's that's what I love about this. And you know, like, and that's why, like, I'm glad we get to do this finally because, like, it's been in the works as mentioned, and it's fun, man. Like, I mean, look, I had David Loiseau on my show about 2 weeks ago. That's when.
I haven't listened to it
Oh,
yet. Again, too much content,
I know,
man.
I
Slow
know.
down. Let me
I'm
catch
trying.
up.
I'm
What
trying to.
was
But
that? That must have been a good conversation then.
oh, I was starstruck. Let me be honest with you. I
Yeah,
was like, holy shit! It's like I got David Loiseau on my show. Like,
it's a ninja. Yeah.
he really is a pioneer because, like, I mean, yes, we all say George St. Pierre, was
Yeah.
like, you know, but David Loiseau was the one who started it for Quebec. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. I was fans of both of them before they
Yeah.
even went into UFC. I still remember my heart being broken when he did get into the UFC because I thought both of them were just going to get the UFC and explode. Him and George, and David didn't do as well, and it's I don't know why. Who knows? But whatever.
But David, you know what? At the end of the day, he did well for himself outside the sport because he's a successful entrepreneur. He's got his own gym now, Crow
That's good to hear.
MMA. It's really good. No, like he's one of the success stories that like really parlayed his career well after UFC. Uh real lived below his means, you know, and now he's successful so he can live like he can really, you know, what's the word? Like he can like really take the fruits of his labor, if that's the
Yep.
saying. Yeah, like
Yep.
he can do that. And he's happy, man. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy. He also has a Kyokushin background too.
Yeah.
He only
Yeah.
got the brown belt. He didn't get a
Yeah.
black belt, but still, he's those elbows, man. Those elbows.
Man, he was an amazing, amazing fighter. Again, I remember when I first saw him and George. It was to your like you were saying earlier. It's like a movie. Like it was watching characters out of a movie. The way those guys move.
You know who I like? You know, speaking of movies, you know who I have to say, like, what when it comes to movie martial artists, everyone says Bruce Lee, um, got them into it, or you know, Rocky from or Jean Claude Van Damme. For me, it was Wesley Snipes and Michael Jai White, and not many people know this, but Michael Jai White's a legit Kyokushin black
Oh
belt.
yeah, he's another guy I would love to have on. Oh my God. Yeah, he's totally legit. Are you kidding? Yeah, yeah, he's Kyokushin roots for sure. Yeah, he still trains Kyokushin.
Oh, he says that's like his discipline. He's got other disciplines like taekwondo,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
ninjutsu, but he said he swear like he wears the Kyokushin like track jacket still. Like
yeah, yeah.
I like him, man. And he's trained John Jones too. Even
Oh, I didn't know that.
he did a training with John Jones. Yeah, like he went to Albuquerque, New Mexico to train with John, and he said
Wow.
that he's like John is like the goat. He's like I know people want to say Khabib is. He's like it's always this debate. Like I mean, like the thing is, I don't when people ask me who the goat of MMA is. I mean, it's a very opinionated topic because
Yeah,
everybody's gonna
exactly.
argue with you. But I just say like when I spoke with Felix about this and Wesley, we've all agreed that it's John Jones. We're not taking anything away from Habib. Habib is a very good champion and what he accomplished. But you look at longevity, John Jones is like a Tom Brady, Michael Jordan,
I agree with you.
like he's like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady of MMA. You need that longevity. Look at all the who's
I
who.
totally agree with you, and I always say he's the goat as well. But and also for me, again, I love Habib as well. But Habib, when you think of Habib, you think wrestling. You think, it's where I think of Jones, it's anything. He's so well rounded. He's a complete martial artist. So that's for me why. So
I'm excited for that heavyweight fight if they can make it.
If
Francis
they can
versus
make
John
it,
Jones.
if they can make it, it's a frightening fight.
Oh my god, this doesn't happen. This is like a once in a lifetime like opportunity, and I mean, another fight. I mean, people be like, did you want to see Israel Adesanya versus John Jones? At first, everyone's like, yeah, because it's like the high level striker versus
Yeah,
the but this is better.
yeah, I
Let
agree.
Izzy dominate, 185, and let John and Francis build the sport.
I agree. What'd you think of Sugar coming back this weekend?
I liked it, and I really
Dude,
think
he
that
looked amazing.
you know what? Do you find he has a karate style now? Like the way he was throwing those kicks, that was very Kyokushin
Oh,
like.
a lot of his stuff and a lot of point fighting stuff as
Yeah.
well, and the way to side, that Machida kind of thing, and it's a lot of his stuff is very karate based.
Are you a fan of Stephen Thompson as well? Another
Oh
karate
yeah,
fighter?
yeah. And there's again the same thing, that in and out kind of point fighting style.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I have his instructional videos. You kidding?
Nice. Oh, you really are an aficionado of combat sports. That's amazing, man. Oh man, that's who's my favorite fighter. Because for me, when I got into martial arts, I always say it now. This is what happened in 2015. I was into hockey. That's why I used to be,
Yeah, I
Mr.
remember.
Yeah. So 2015, I watched John Jones dominate Daniel Cormier in their first fight. 2 weeks later, I watched Gegard Mousasi, another one that not many people talk about.
Savage.
And Gegard has a Kyokushin background. If you ever watch
Oh, I didn't
Gegard
know that.
fight,
Oh.
his trainer was Chris Dolman under Jan
Hmm.
Bluming.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
And yeah, so and then if you look at one of the embeddeds, you see a Kyokushin kanji in Gegard's gym. So Musasi does,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Watch how he fights Rory, and when he fights Rory, look at the stance and the way he throws the low leg kicks.
Hmm.
There is some Kyokushin in there. Wesley agreed with that as well. And yeah, like those are the guys that got me in. And then after that, Wonder Boy, when George fought, I wasn't watching, and I wish, but the thing is, it's like
Oh, okay.
I I can't say I really appreciate what George did because I wasn't around to see it. So that's
Oh
why for me it's
man, yeah, you
I'm a
really missed something.
yeah.
That
For,
whole era was just, yeah. Canadians were, it was so, being a Canadian and just being a combat fan, George, and just being who he is and just so humble and just representing so well. It was just incredible. It was just incredible. And yeah, I don't know what to say.
it hasn't been the same since, but that's why, as mentioned, I luckily, I got into martial arts because I don't think I'd be where I am today without martial arts. So that's why, like I always say, my favorite fighters to watch is like John, Izzy, Wonder Boy, Musasi. Another one maybe, that Robert Whitaker's got a karate background.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a Goju Ryu. He's a black belt in Goju
Really?
Ryu. Yeah,
Roger Whittaker. That's
Robert
hilarious.
Whitaker.
No.
Yeah,
Or sorry, Robert.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Wow. Wow. No, I did not know that. I would.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm destroying my.
It's okay. Don't
The,
worry. That's what happens when you have your own content. It makes the show better. It's raw. It's real and raw. That's why.
it's
But
because I'm still trying to get comfortable all the time
yeah.
and moving and shuffling around, and I
Are
hope it's not too annoying.
are you gonna see are you gonna see like a doctor for your back or like a physio or what's the?
Well, physio, yeah. So, and I have a friend,
Mhm,
but it's in such a spasm
mhm.
that you can't do anything with it right now until it
Oh.
calms down. Like it's brutal, and it kind of moves around too, which is
Mhm.
really bizarre. It'll be in one place and then it'll move. It's, it's don't get old, Drew.
No, I'm trying to take care of myself. I'm trying to really, like take care of myself now. As mentioned, I gained the weight. As you can see, I'm looking
Ah,
fuller, but it's gonna burn out. Like, I mean, I'm slowly getting back into shape. I'm doing it the right way. Cause when I fought, do you remember Andrew from your school, Fleming?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So when I fought Andrew, I mean, I'm sure you heard about this. I was like 170, but the way I got to 170 was really bad because at some points I just stopped eating some days. Like I'd only eat 2 meals a day. And now it's like, ooh, it's like I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But you got to find what works for you. Um, for me, my health it's so weird because all this crap always happens to me. But I think I also train a lot.
Hmm.
I work out, whether it's doing karate or gym. I'm usually 5 to 6 days a week. Um, and I think it kind of takes a toll on me after a while,
Hmm.
getting up there. So I'm really big on supplements and all these different things too. But you only could do so much. After a while, the bearings get a little a little rusty or whatever as you get older. So I don't know.
Exactly. I just want to say, man, you guys are doing so good with IFK. Like, and you guys are like, so what I really appreciate about IFK is how like accessible they are, because they, if they see that you're doing Kyokushin, like they really want to help support it. And I mean, I recently had on Itzik Ashkenazi of IFK Israel, and lo- such an amazing human being. Like, I mean, IFK has like some very good people, like with like you guys and Kicks. And is there going to be any plans to bring up more dojos in Canada? Because I know IFK is
Well,
super small.
that was the whole again. COVID.
COVID. But
It's all
if there,
goes. Everything goes back to COVID,
if it
man.
wasn't COVID, like let's say, like in a perfect world, was there supposed to be a plan
Yes.
to like have more dojos in
Yeah,
Canada?
100%. Of course, we wanted to grow it for sure, and that was the idea, you know. Also, though, IFK is an organization that doesn't. They don't necessarily go out recruiting
Mm-hmm.
for other organizations. It's more see if people come to them, which I really respect, and I like that a lot. I think it's, to be honest, I think it's kind of odd when organizations go recruiting. Um, I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me. So, but because it was growing and we're getting such a great reputation and definitely a great representation under Sensei Steve, I mean, he's beloved and respected, not just in Canada but globally. So obviously that face of IFK in Canada is really respected. So obviously there was interest there. So yeah, the idea that it was going to grow, and it was, and the interest was there. But yeah, COVID kicked the piss out of everyone.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, like IFK has had so many stars. I mean, and on Canada too, you guys not only now you have Pavel and the future generation, but before that you had Amir. Like Amir is someone that I wanted to get on my show, but
Here.
Amir is like, but Steve said he's a hard guy to get in touch with because he's like a police officer now apparently. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm friends with Amir. It's yeah, it's. I don't think we'll see. Excuse me, pardon me. I don't
No,
think
it's
we'll
okay.
see him back. I don't in combat sports. I doubt it. Um, I think his lifestyle and stuff is more geared towards his career and things of that nature now, like the police and stuff. But he's a great guy, huge heart, and just a sweetheart of a guy. I really wish he could have continued, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll prove me wrong.
Anything can
Yeah,
happen, but I mean,
anything
Amir's
happen.
the kind of guy, because like I always like to say, because when I had I'm sure like you've heard of I mean, you know, all the Shians in Quebec. I'm sure you've heard of Shihan Pierre Cataford.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I had Pierre on, when I had Pierre on, like I know it's so much content, but Pierre was like someone that it's like, if you know how you say like I'm an expert in knowing stats when it comes to kumites and organizing, Pierre
Mm,
Cataford knows his facts inside and out. Like you could
right.
ask him, and he said to me like, and him and Steve Fogarazzi said the Iranians have that genetic in them. Like they could stop doing combat sports for 10 years, they come back doing it, and it's like they never left. It's like the rest is never there.
I'd have to agree. I mean, when I think of like the high caliber combat athletes, specifically around Kyokushin, you automatically usually think Russians and the Iranians. And yeah, I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's just discipline or something in the water. I don't know what it is. But when you do have an athlete from those places, there's just something. Yeah, genetic freaks.
They really are. And the Japanese for their technicality, you know, how
Yes.
technical they are.
Yeah.
I think those are the three. Iran, I think it's two when they have the religion. And no, I'm not saying that, like I don't want to bring religion into like here, but like you know what I mean? I think when you have that discipline with with spirituality and martial arts, that's a very lethal combination. And that's why I think they have that tough mindset to really
But that's an
persevere.
interesting one. I mean, yeah, we go down a path there
Oh, I
because
know.
even Amir is a Zoroastrian, so he's not Muslim. Um, but I know. I mean, yeah, whatever. We better not.
Yeah, we might offend a few people. I don't
Yeah,
I don't want us to get in trouble here, but it's an interesting discussion though to have because
yeah.
I
I'm
asked
sure
when
it
I
affects it. I'm
yeah.
sure it affects it. The discipline.
Oh, it really does, and I think you know what Amir's done. I watched Amir fight like some of his fights. I found some of his highlights on YouTube, luckily, and guy's a freak, man. That guy's like a Yoel Romero, like
Yeah, and he's also one of these guys. Completely natural. That guy wouldn't take anything if it was like given to him. Like he's so natural. Like he won't even take a supplement. But he's the kind of guy who will train for a week and just it's just like
Yeah.
Hulk. It's incredible to watch. Like he can just transform himself. Like it's hilarious to watch. But again, back to like we were talking about much earlier, when you're to spar with, what a fun guy to spar with. So here's a guy who could just rip your head off any second, but it's the most beautiful, technical, fun sparring with him. It's just I love that's I miss sparring with him so much.
What I've heard, like I've when I was here when I was talking with Steve, and like because whenever I say stuff off about what we speak about off the record, I want to make sure it's very positive. By the way, because because I want to make you when you bring it when you do good when you say good comes to you. That's how it is. And
Yeah,
Steve said something amazing about him. He's like, Amir, as you said, one of the toughest guys on the tatami, but to spar with, everybody loved sparring with him because he was
everybody.
gentle. He would encourage. He would even if someone tried to get a bit, smart with him, he's like, Amir would take the time to explain, this is why you have to be patient. And Steve said it's like he really made like a lot of people not just better fighters, but better karatekas around the school.
100%. That's why he was so missed there, when he went back into school and stuff. Because he also, again, such an incredible athlete and specimen of a human, but also so gentle and so kind, and it just always a huge smile and just energy was just so amazing around him. He's just laughing and just having such a fun time. Um, yeah, it's funny. I had a video I posted of him. I put a GoPro on my head, and he was just throwing kicks at me all over the place, and it got taken down because it got copyright because of the music I had used on it. And it's so
Ah,
sad.
darn copyright, man. I'm getting why we gotta. That's why you gotta use your own music now. Like like we get you
Well, back
pay.
then I didn't care.
Yeah,
I was just
no.
doing it for fun. I put it up, and it was so hilarious that it got taken down for that. But it was so I call it Kyokushin salsa or something like that, and it was. But anyway, yeah. The point is, that he's just just a fun character and amazing athlete
Yeah.
and
Hey Scott, give me a
respectful.
second, all right? It's got
Yeah, man.
something just fell down, all right? Let me just get it. Hold on. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So,
That's all right.
yeah, it's okay. That's what happens. Like, yeah. But it's just amazing to see like what it's just amazing to see like what you guys have done, like, kicks, like it's so respected, like in terms of like a Kyokushin, like everybody knows kicks in Ontario. It's like,
Yeah.
and I really hope when it opens up, you know I can come, and get my hoodie. Like my new goal is to get a kicks hoodie, the Dojo Hikori Mayo. I have my KRT hoodie. I mean, like I'm just collecting Kyokushin hoodies, man. That's what it is. And it's like it's a lifestyle. It's like the jiu-jitsu gis, I collect Kyokushin hoodies. That's what I do.
Yeah, I wish I had more actually. I loved that's one thing I missed about tournaments. I love tournament shirts. I love everybody always puts a tournament shirt, so I loved collecting them.
It's
But
like a nice souvenir. What's your
yeah.
what's your prediction for? Because I always say, like, see, people ask me, when do you think tournaments happen again? And some, are saying, oh, it's gonna happen like late summer, when everyone has their first shot, or maybe by fall. But I always said, if we're really let's be realistic here.
No way.
I think 2022 is what we're looking at
Yeah,
because
100%.
this is like a
There's
very
nothing
this
happening this year.
no.
Not here anyway. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's different in other parts of the world, but we're talking specifically here. I don't think so. No way.
It's just crazy. But I mean, I think, I'm trying, I don't want to sound like I said, I'm being optimistic, but I'm being realistic too. And that's why I
Well,
always
yeah,
say,
that's all I
like,
mean. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be 2022. I think maybe late 2021 if some miracle happens, but I'm putting my bets in 2022 that
Well, the reason I don't think so, it's because there a lot of planning goes into tournaments,
yeah.
a lot of organization, like behind the scenes and leading up to it. So in order to do that, you really need to know what your runway is. You need to know like how it's so hard to you can't plan for anything right now. You just can't. You're planning for something, the carpet could be ripped out from under you the day of the event. And nobody can risk that. There's so much financial instability there. So yeah, that's why I'm just being pragmatic.
Yeah.
I just don't see it in the cards for this year. It's
What
unfortunate.
if and when we return to normality, what do you want to see the martial way expand and evolve into for Kyokushin?
That's interesting. Um, it's a good question. As long as it just stays on the path of promoting it, getting the name out for Kyokushin, uh, that's enough for me. As long as it can grow the martial art, um, yeah, I think that would make me a happy camper. As for real talk, Terry and I have talked about if things ever reopen or when they reopen, of taking it on a road show. So going places, go to summer or to go to camps and seminars and things of that nature, and then do our conversations live right there and have interactions with people. So that'd be kind of fun.
And then you have like, like how like they have like the little thing under like to say like who the host is, like, like Scott Heaney from at Themartialwayblog, like, and they do
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
like you get to like you do some film work, like 'cause you could do anything with this, like, and like that's the same with my show too. Like someone asked me like, what do you want to do with the Drew experience? And I said, if kumites happen again, I want to give a voice to the fighters and like, do interviews with the fighters after wins, say like, hey, how'd you feel you did? Or how about that kata
that's a great idea.
competition?
Yeah.
Give them a story, learn some photography too. Cause some photos I take, I mean, everyone does it too. I mean, we all take some great photos, but for some reason I always take good photos for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's a new skill I have, but I want to
Cool.
also take a good photo of like, say someone like doing that technique. And then what's the story behind that technique? Like, what were you thinking? So I really want to give the voice, like a voice and a platform, like a real platform to Kyokushin.
I think that's great because I think that is what's missing, or one of the components that is missing is the voice element. I mean, that's why I wanted to do the one-on-ones, just to, everybody. The thing that fascinates me with people is everybody has a story. I don't care who you are, and you don't have to be a superstar or Shihan something or other. Everybody has a story, and everybody has something in their story that can touch someone else and can inspire another person. And I think that's so important. So for me, it's just important getting that story out there. And I don't think there was platforms before for Kyokushin, and now there are a few. So that just, yeah, keep it rolling.
We have a job to do. I think we have a role to play. That says that for KRT, Martial Way Blog, the Drew Experience, and the Kyokushin Shuffle. I think we really have a role to play. And I think it's like, what? If others come along the way, great.
Yeah.
That's good. It's more awareness. But I think we are the four pillars right now of like, really just bringing
Yeah.
awareness.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely think that. It's what struck me this year. Another thing that caught me off guard was I got a lot of people contacting me about my blog and about old articles that I had written. And then someone told me, "Why don't you just compile them all and just release them as a book?" So that's my next little project that I'm doing too,
Nice.
which is it's nothing special. I mean, it's just obviously it's all available there on the blog anyway, but have it available in one format because it tells a really cool little legacy of me. I was laid off martial arts for some time. I come back, go in the Kyokushin. I start off at white belt again and go right through, and it's all chronicled there with a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna do that as well. Just release it.
Nice. You got to do it, man. Anything, as mentioned, we really, it's like, as mentioned, there's so much success, slices of success pie to go around. Like, because at the end of the day, like, I want to like, I mean, like, I think we all share what each other's success. Like, I mean, it's all in a tandem. It's all in like a symphony, the way I
Hmm.
look at it. And, like, yes, I understand, like, when you come up, like some people are kind of like, who's this new kid on the block? Who's this, who's that? Like, cause sometimes like you're going to get a lot of no's at first,
Hmm.
but when you have those conversations with people, like, you just go in, like, something that works for you, as you said earlier, you like going in to get to know the person. I think after that, the chances are you're going to come out with either like a friend or in terms of like, say, like a supporter in a sense, like if that's
Hmm.
the right, like an ally that's going
Hmm.
to help you. Um, and I mean, that's what I love about this. Like, I mean, I've had no's from some Shians. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna. It's not a
Oh,
bad
me
thing.
too. I have too. Yeah.
It's part of the game. They just don't want to do it. Like, I mean, I almost spoke. Like, I mean, it was in the works. I almost got Globe on my show. Like,
Oh
that
wow.
was. But he had to talk to Hanbu because of RKO1. He's like, hey, he's like, what's your show called? Oh, I got to talk to Hanbu first. And I'm like, oh boy. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I've already run into that. That's yeah.
It's like until IKO 1 collapses, which I mean that's an episode for the politics of whenever that we could really get publicity on. No comment. Yeah. But when I think eventually like they have to modernize. Like that's just me. Like there's going to be a period where they have to do reflection and modernize. What we're doing is we're modernizing it. That's the good thing. But eventually through modernization comes uniting. And that's what I think what all our platforms are doing, which is better.
I agree. But obviously I cannot speak for them or what their plans are. Yeah.
We can speak for what we do and the guests we've had on. And I mean, you've done very well. You're continuing to do very well. And I think this show with Terry, as mentioned, it's another great avenue to do. And there's, as mentioned, like, these one-on-ones that we do are like important. And I mean, I got to pick up my video editing game, like, what you and Patrick do, because I got to learn how to like have like a virtual background. I got to learn how to have like the Drew from the Drew Experience, like under my name. Like I'm trying, man. I'm not technical, but I can learn. It's going to take a long time.
That stuff is not that hard. That stuff for me, it's time commitment. Yeah. So if I had more time, I could do more fun stuff with it. But it's hard.
Scott, where can people find you if they want to connect? Because I want to make sure, like, not only like I want to make sure.
In my office.
Yeah, you're. He's in his office. He is not out. We're all home. We're all working from home. Woo! Lockdown life. Third wave. COVID-21.
Oh no! Anywhere. I mean, just Google the Marshall Way. That's the other thing that's crazy about this brand that I've built now. It's pretty easy to find me. You just Google the Marshall Way, it pops up. So Facebook, Instagram, everything. I left Twitter. But
oh my God, such a good move. I'm telling you right now, like some people say, no, you guys got it. Some people say you got to get your podcast on Twitter. No. I am staying off that cesspool.
Yeah, totally agree. So yeah, you can find me on the usual channels. I'm pretty easy to track down, and I welcome anybody to reach out.
Scott, I really want to thank you for coming on again. I know, as mentioned, we said 45 minutes, but I mean, talking with you, it felt like old times again. If you ever want to come on again, the door's always open. I still want to do with you. What I want to do with you, I wanted to propose it to you is, what I want to do is do one with you and Patrick Pinto, like as mentioned with our shows, but then eventually all four of us, KRT, Marshall Way, Kyokushin Shuffle, if we can get the time difference to work.
Yeah, it would be fun though.
It would be amazing. I mean, look, I have Zoom for the year, unlimited to host like 2 to 10 people. So, I mean, it would be great. And I think we're just doing a great job. So I really want to say, thank you for coming on. Thank you for also like, giving me the idea of how to like improve when I came back, and working, when we do this project together, like in the future, I have nothing but good feelings. It's like a good vibes about it.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support you've given me as well. It goes both ways, as you said. So, and I'm proud of everything you've done. It's unbelievable to watch your journey from, your old show to the new one and everything you're doing, and the amount of content you push out. Like I said, I can't even keep up myself. So it's really, really impressive. So nothing but luck to you, buddy. It's you don't need it. You're fine. You're on the trajectory.
I know at the end of the day, it's who you surround yourself with too. You just got to make sure you have good supportive people. And if they're supporting you, that's the key.
Yourself with good people, man.
That's the key. I'd rather have 2 quality friends than 50 acquaintances.
No toxicity. You don't want
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. All right. Well, you get better. Like I really hope you make a speedy recovery. And thank you so much. Don't worry, man. We got this. You got this. I'm gonna send you my good Passover vibes, mine and Oleg's vibes.
Passover.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I'm just doing what I can. I'm trying to stay positive.
That's right. All right.
Have a good one, Scotty.
See you, buddy.